Almost there. And so, good evening, everyone. We'll just make sure that we are all on live in the Facebook is streaming us, and yes, so Facebook is streaming us now. So we are now on live on my both of my Facebook page. So my personal page, Sylvia Beliveau, and my E-Chaplain Aumônier du Web E-Chaplain page, and also on YouTube for those who are interested in seeing that. You'll be able to watch it now. Yes, it's going on live. So tonight we are, well, I have the privilege and honor and happiness and joy to present you Joy, my partner in crime, as I told in the before, but I said no, I can't really say that. But anyways, uh, so she's a valuable team member of the E-Chaplain platform or concept, whatever we want to call it. So she's here for us, and I decided to interview her so we can. I've mentioned her name in a few lives in previous weeks, and people asked me, "Well, who is Joy, anyways?" So I said, "Well, all right, let's go to it, Joy. Let's do a live an interview." So here we are. Hello, Joy. How are you?
I am good. I am so delighted to be with you here tonight. So thanks for asking.
Yes, thank you. Well, I'm really happy you're here as well. And we see a little creature in the back, so let us meet Moose. Moose is just getting ready, and yes. So people have been asking me, who is Joy? I've known you for how many years? 3, 4 years now. So, and mostly, and we've known each other for that many years. And in my former employment and former ministry as a correctional chaplain at Dorchester Penitentiary, I knew Joy then when I was working at the minimum sector and also at the medium sector. So, Joy, I have 7 questions for you tonight. So they'll be short, perfect 7. So, can you tell me who is Joy Steem? Who are you, anyways?
Who is Joy Steem? What a question. Well, when we find out, I'd love to know more. I am a writer. I'm a community chaplain. I am a dabbler in learning guitar very slowly and poorly, but surely. I am a firm believer that we only truly become ourselves in the context of genuine relationship. So I try to live that in my life. I love audiobooks. I like doing paint by numbers, again, poorly, but I enjoy it.
Oh, well, you can follow the lines. Can you?
It's harder than you'd think, and I'm not one for following lines anyways. I used to live in Surrey, BC. And so when I was there, I got a taste for curry. So I love making curry dishes for my friends who are brave here. And I really like green tea. When I think about who I am, I think that we are who we are because of the people who we love and the people who have loved us. So the people that I have loved and who love me, we're kind of a group of folks who are passionate about growing and learning and laughing and crying and seeing life as this fabulously precious and fragile gift. So one that has a lot of sorrow, but also many more reasons to celebrate in the beauty and to do it together. And that's a good summation of who Joy Steem is today, I think.
Well, yeah, that's good. Good job. Good job. So you succeeded. Check mark number 1. And you told me a little bit about you, because I know that you are a little bit of a private person, but still tonight you're really opening the book up for the E-Chaplain community. But what is your background? What is your background?
I'm a country bumpkin. So I was raised in the country. I live in the city now, but by my choice, I would live surrounded by woods. So, but kind of my background is, as a country bumpkin raised on a farm, the only way to get out of chores was homework. So I learned to love school and to love being a student. So as a student, I took on studentist jobs like being a tree planter, and that allowed me a lot of time to listen to audiobooks and lectures and courses, and that got me hooked on learning and growing in that way, which kind of turned to me becoming a writer and an editor and a tutor. I've driven across Canada a couple times on my lonesome. That's been an incredible experience.
Of course.
And now, of course, I'm a community chaplain. So some people will say, those sound like very different things. And I actually see it all as pretty connected.
Mhm.
My academic background is in English literature. So I have a grad degree in English literature, and it was during that time that I fell in love with the power of story. And to know the story, our own stories, of course, is to know the stories of other people and to what stories we belong and how that impacts us, and to recognize our commonality and to see the bigger picture, to truly know each other, right?
Right,
So
right.
I think that in the context of story is how we know each other, it's how we know ourselves, it's how we truly actually live alive. They say to know somebody, so kind of going back to your previous question a little bit, to know somebody is to know the community or the ideas to which they belong. So
Yes.
not necessarily part of my background, but what has shaped me are a few authors, people like Frederick Buechner, George MacDonald, Madeleine L'Engle, Father Gregory Boyle, Brennan Manning, Brene Brown. They've really helped me.
Of course, Brene Brown.
Yeah, they've helped me sink my toes into life. And yeah, it's a bit of my background.
That's good. That's good. So very interesting background. And so right now you're you told us you're what could you tell me about more about your, let's say, your faith background?
Sure. So I had the privilege of being raised in a Christian background where I was told daily that Jesus loves me, that I'm important to him, that I matter, that everybody has dignity. And that is something that I hold on to daily. And a lot of people haven't had that background. So when we talk about faith things together, they might have more hurt associated with terminology around religion or faith or Father God or Creator God or deity. They have hurt around that. And I don't have that hurt, but I've come to recognize the depth of that hurt. So for me, if I can I jump to that third question? I'm assuming this is kind of related, right?
Of course, yes. So I guess the third question is, when did your faith become more alive, awakened?
So I see it kind of as related to what we were just talking about, because I do have that privilege of I am loved, I'm part of the family of God, we belong to each other and all that stuff. But even with all of that stuff, we still go through struggle and sorrow and questions of identity and questions of purpose and meaning and all that stuff. And it was one of those times, it was an incredibly hard time for me, because who I thought that I was on my road to becoming ended. That was shaken. And who I thought I was, what I connected myself with being, was suddenly pulled out from under me. And that's when I was introduced to George MacDonald.
Okay.
Some people aren't familiar with him, the easiest way to introduce people to him is C.S. Lewis said, George MacDonald was my master, and basically he's in the pages of everything that I write. So for me, in reading George MacDonald's fiction, I actually had a hard time understanding the words on the page, but I understood the spirit. And in this midst of despair and this questioning of what does it all mean, I had this sense of mercy and hope and belonging that I hadn't experienced before.
Mm-hmm.
And later I encountered Madeleine L'Engle, who was also influenced by George MacDonald's big, beautiful world of belonging and goodness and mercy and grace. And that was really, really transformative for me. So I can't really say that there was a single moment that my faith went from frail to vibrant, but there have definitely been stopping places along the way where I've met companions, whether authors or friends, who we journey together in learning about that posture of receptivity to love and to life and purpose and hope and meaning making in the struggle. And in the moments that I choose or I've chosen to say yes to life, those are markers along the way. So I hope, in response to your question, when did your faith become more awakened? I hope that it becomes more awakened every day.
Yeah, true. Because we always have room to grow our faith, right?
Yeah.
And the minute we decide, well, I lose faith, or oh, well, I don't know if I can believe in that, or I don't know if I have even confidence or faith in me for faith or in others, we do have our downfalls in some way, shape, or form in some time in our life, but every day it is important to make more room for that faith and to evolve in it, and also to be ready for the unknown and to have faith in that today and that tomorrow, and have faith in God, whatever God has to offer us, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. And I see a few people watching us tonight. So Jean-François Lacasse from Mayday Mayday. He's a brilliant guy. He's into mental health, and also I see my sister Ginette Offray, who replies to, and she says, "Our family loves curry." And yes, that's exciting news. Yes. So I have other people watching us, but I can't really on StreamYard. That's what I'm using right now to broadcast on two platforms or three platforms. So YouTube personal page, YouTube E-Chaplain page, Facebook personal page, Facebook, uh, Facebook Pro, so E-Chaplain page, and also on YouTube. So eventually I'll learn all of that jargon and all of that technology to be able to see, oh yeah, hello, yes. So now, speaking of E-Chaplain, I'd like to know why on earth did you become involved with Aumônier du Web E-Chaplain?
So I was thinking about this. I was actually asked, well, I get asked from time to time what has inspired me or what motivates me to be a chaplain in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
But an experience very recently, which I think is important to this conversation about right now, about why did I decide to become involved with you and the important work that you're doing, is, so somebody said to me, are you doing it out of a sense of obligation or duty or sacrifice or boredom, or like, why do you do this? And the words that flew out of my mouth before I even really had a chance to think was, because it is a privilege and an honor to witness people's stories when they are at their most vulnerable and real with another human being. And for me, there is a mutuality in the grace that we give in listening and the grace that somebody gives us in telling. And there's this reciprocality in grace and growing. And when I hear somebody's story, if I am truly listening, I can't help but be changed. So if I'm given the opportunity to accompany people in their stories, to hear about what their purpose is, or questions about that purpose, or things that are weighing them down, or a desire to cultivate wonder together, my immediate response to that is going to be yes, because that's really, really close to my heart. And dare I say, I think it's close to the heart of God, but that might be a little bit, maybe that's too forward. So when you asked me to be involved in this, it wasn't really a decision that I had to put too much thought into it. I just think it's a really beautiful, important work and an avenue of being agents of healing to each other and cultivating wonder. And that's beautiful, man.
That's good. That's good. Well, thank you, lady. And yeah, and uh, you know, as I told another interview with Beatrice Aribert, I said, how how did this E-Chaplain idea came about? Well, I was actually sitting on the toilet and looking at reading a document called Humanisation de l'ère digitale from Martin Latulippe, and the idea came just like that in my heart, in my head, and it just said E-Chaplain. And then the first person I thought of was you to become involved into this. You're actually the first person who I sent the the little diagram that I drew up, and I said, "Here." So, and again, that's when you said, "Yeah, well, I'd like to hear more about it," and I kept going and going and going. So now I can actually call Joy Steem a team member, an E-Chaplain team member, and already you are there to contemplating on the ideas of involving more people, growing the community, creating a way where we can interact or where the members of the Groupe de Prière Aumônier du Web E-Chaplain prayer group, which is on Facebook, uh, to come along and send their prayer requests, and I tried to translate them. I'm not really. I should be more adamant about that. So you can. I should say, there's Google Translate. No, I have to. I promised that I would translate those prayer requests. Well, don't write anything in Chinese. I don't know Chinese. So, anyways, from French to English, that's okay. So, uh, the next question is: how do you see your contribution to the people who will benefit from the services Aumônier du Web E-Chaplain has to offer now and in the future?
Without sounding like a record that is on repeat, um, grace. I think that, again, there's this, when you have people with open hearts who are willing to turn towards each other and listen to each other and share with each other, there is a grace that is there. So I see my contribution as being a presence of that grace, as coming alongside that willingness to cultivate wonder and that willingness to talk about our frailty and our purpose.
Hmm.
I see my contribution as having those conversations about what actually matters in this life, and helping people identify that they do have the courage to ask those kind of questions, and that no one person has the answer, but in journeying with those questions together, that's how we grow, that's how we sink our roots down, that's how we firm up.
Hmm.
So my contribution is not because I have all of these answers, or I have all of these degrees, or I have all of these things that I don't have. My contribution comes from presence and from belief that everybody matters and everybody has a certain shared commonality. Not that we're the same, because we're not the same, but there's things that we share. And when we can hear each other speak, there's a comfort that comes from that. And so I guess my contribution, I would hope, would be as that comforting presence, as that listening presence, as that empathetic, hope-filled presence. And if I can achieve that kind of contribution, I'll be pretty satisfied.
Good, good. I'm so happy to hear you saying that, because when I first approached you to be involved was to, edit English texts. And then now you're here talking about presence. Presence to the people who will read us, uh, who will visit the website when it will be done. But for now, for those people who are viewing us, uh, if you want to, how could I say this? If you need that listening ear, someone with a listening ear and heart, Joy and I are there for you. Uh, for now, I'll be more present for that. But in a group, Joy will be able to be there in a group setting, as we've discussed earlier this week, and we're working on fine tuning those details, and in due time, eventually, it will be available to you. But if you want to hear more, or if you have any questions about that, feel free to uh, send me a messenger message and messenger. So Sylvia Belleville or Sylvia Belleville, Aumônier du Web, E-Chaplain. I'll be more than delighted to, more than happy to answer those questions for you. Your journey with this has just begun, but where do you see yourself within the next 3 years, either in your professional life, personal life, or your E-Chaplain life? Tough question, eh?
That is a tough question. In general, I struggle with that question, because who really knows where we'll be?
Yeah.
Right? So
where would you like to be, maybe?
But where would I like to be? Yeah, I think the heart of that I'm going to choose to speak to, and I might not actually be answering the question that you're asking, but like a good politician, I'm going to ask the question that I want to ask, which is the kind of person that I want to be. And that's a person of kindness and a listening ear, a person who faces uncertainty with a dignity that comes from humility. And gosh, I don't actually know what's going to be there, but I have the humility to know that I don't need to know, and it's going to be okay, because I'm not doing this alone. I want to be the kind of person who easily asks for and gives forgiveness and creates beauty in my life and in others' lives. A person who is awake in the moment. I think there's a lot of ways to become that kind of person. I think that kind of person is in the making, in the choices we make every day. And I feel like the choice to say, yes, I want to be part of that community, was a step in that direction. I would hope that in 3 years from now, I could be the kind of person who has, and we talked a little bit before, you mentioned the idea about belief and doubt and uncertainty, but still holding on to belief without, you said it better than I'm remembering right now, but something along the lines of, like, we don't have to have that certainty in order to have a belief. So if I can be the kind of presence to myself and to others that, man, what holds this universe together is a force of love with a capital L that is so fierce and beautiful that even when we can't understand what's going on, even when we can't understand that love with a capital L, we can still choose to believe it. And that's the kind of person I want to be. And I feel like this community that you're developing and that you're investing in is a really real way of becoming that kind of person, of contributing to that kind of person. I didn't answer your question at all, and I hope you'll forgive me for that.
Of course. Yeah, it is true that we don't know what the future holds for your life, the E-Chaplain's life, my own life. But we know deep down deep down our heads or our heart. And if you're not afraid of elevators, like I used to say to the inmates, you can go down from your head to your heart to find out what's going on, and to know what are your desires. Where would you like to be? Not where do you see yourself, but maybe would you like to be in this community, a contributing member, team member in this community. And you've talked a little bit about it. And what is your wish for the E-Chaplain? What's your dream?
I think my dream would be that one of the values that I see in the E-Chaplain is there's so many people with so many barriers and isolation. And right now, I mean, during COVID, those are very like physical, real, actual barriers in a very physical way. But regardless of that, so many people are so isolated, and there's so many barriers to actually building that connection, that the beauty of what I see in the E-Chaplain community is to grow that in a really creative way. So, okay, if we're not able to do this in person, we can do it this way, and it can be really powerful and really beautiful. And that's really exciting for me because it opens up avenues that were previously closed.
Of course.
So my hope would be that the community would grow and that the message would really take root in a meaningful way, and it would be something that people would want to share with their friends because it's really impacted them. Is that a better answer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Tina, who is my wife and listening, she says that se laisser vivre à la volonté de Dieu et croire en son plan est une réponse remplie de foi. So to let ourselves live to God's will and also believe in His plan is a response full of faith. So to let ourselves guide, to receive the guidance from God. And I'd like to remind the people, when you say I'd like to see, I have a dream so that the E-Chaplain community grows, I want to remind everybody who's listening to us on live or in replay, the E-Chaplain is more than for people who are Catholic, Christians. It's for everyone. I went to Mass. That's my background, Catholic faith. And I went to Mass this morning, and I was asking God for answers for tonight and for the E-Chaplain community. And it says everybody belongs. Everybody. And it reminds me from a story when I was working at the prison, and an inmate went to see a particular volunteer, and this inmate had a different faith background than the volunteer. And this inmate's sibling was very ill. So he asked me, he says, Chaplain, do you think I can go ask that volunteer if he could pray for my family member? I said, yeah, go ahead. Of course. That's his job. So, unfortunately, what had happened is that that volunteer said, well, hey, you're not a Christian. You're that other faith. I can't pray for you. You need to have faith if you want me to pray for you. But the E-Chaplain concept here, E-Chaplain platform, if you send us a prayer request, whether you're a pagan, Wiccan, Muslim, Jewish, Baha'i faith, Buddhist, and you don't know how to pray, maybe you don't know how to have that connection with the higher power, with the bigger than yourself, with God, with Father, with Jesus, we'll be here for you. We are here for you. We will welcome you. That's why the E-Chaplain is a multi faith, even though we're based on Christianity and Catholicism, but we are here for everyone. Everyone is welcome.
Mm.
Nobody's perfect. I'm not. Joy didn't even answer my question straight, so she's not perfect. No, I'm joking. Uh, so yeah, we we are here for everyone, men and women who want to be helped to find their dignity in their existence through simplicity towards wonder.
Mm.
That's our main mandate. If we can get that into our minds, into our heart, we will be champions. And
Mm.
if we can make that, make you believe that, or help you believe that, and know that, and have confidence in that, in God through us, that's what we will be able to achieve. Hopefully. That's my desire
Mm.
as E-Chaplain, not just an E-Chaplain, but as E-Chaplains. And uh, where do before I ask you the final question, the where I see the vision of the E-Chaplain is that for sure you are part of that vision and we are creating it together. But is also to have uh, chaplains, E-Chaplains from different faith backgrounds who will be able to connect and teach on this platform on this YouTube channel, which is Aumônier du Web E-Chaplain, and also in the Aumônier du Web E-Chaplain Facebook group. It's under Silvio hyphen Aumônier du Web / E-Chaplain. So if you want to, you can go visit that, and I try to give meat to whoever is there listening to us or reading, and so it will be just a community where we can share multi faith items. And uh, again, the lady Jeanette Offray says, "I love that you are open to all. Nobody's trash in here. We can't say, well, you're not Christian, you don't belong. We are all children of God. All." I remember Pope John Paul II in 1984, in the 80s, he says, Vous êtes tous enfants de Dieu. You are all children of God. No matter your background, no matter your color. So again, I want to thank you, Joy, for having confidence in this project as we are building along the way. And uh, I'm still in wonder, in awe that I have the privilege to have you on board. It blows my mind. It blows my heart. So, and I thank God every day for that. And I thank God to give you the patience with me for the number of emails I send you, for the number of messages on Messenger I sent you. Well, maybe she liked this thought. Okay, yeah, this is real. Yeah, this is alongside. So, anyways, she's Silvio, I'm a swamp. I'm a swamp. Please don't push the pedal to the metal too much. So my last question, last but not least, is if you had only one message for our audience to remember from you, what would that be?
I'm going to be a terrible question answerer again. So, two things. I had something in mind, and that's true, but I want to finish on something else
Okay.
in response to what you just said. So the original one that I had in mind was a friend of mine said to me from Narnia, quoting Narnia, "Courage, dear heart. Through and at the end of all the trouble and all the storm, God, or love with a capital L, wins, and we are held every step of the way." But in response to what you were talking about of creating this community of belonging, as you were talking about, there is room for everybody. Like we all belong. There's room for everybody. This word belonging kept coming to mind over and over again. So the one message that I would want to leave with people is this is a place of belonging. This is a place where you can feel that sense of belonging.
Hmm, that's good. Yeah, okay. Well, 100% on all those 7 questions. So again, I want to thank you, Joy, and thank you for all your confidence and all your dedication in this e-chaplaincy. And because we're here with God or for God, I dare to finish in a prayer. So, and maybe you'd like to add on to that. It's up to you. So, dear God, we have with us tonight, we have Joy Steem, who is a e-chaplain team member, and we have people who viewed us online while we are live, and maybe people who will be viewing us on replay. I just want to thank you, God, for the opportunity that I have, that you chose me to have that inspiration to create this uh, platform, this community, the Aumônier du Web E-Chaplain community, a place where everybody will belong, a place where nobody will be judged, a place where people will be able to find you through us, through through us as myself and Joy as e-chaplains, but also through the people who will interact in the community. So in the Aumônier du Web prayer group, e-chaplain prayer group, and also on the page or on YouTube, uh, I believe that you are all in the midst of this creation. This is part of your creation, and it's larger than me. I cannot do this alone, God, and I thank you for being there in my heart and to make sure I pace myself because I'm not God, you are. And I want to ask you to be there with everyone who will come across the YouTube channel or Facebook page and bless them with all your grace. And be the one who listens to them the most. Amen.
Yes.
So again, thank you, Joy. And I see Moose is resting now. Yes. Maybe
He
he'd
feels
be
the
a
peace
team
too.
member. Was that?
He feels at peace as well.
Yes, yes. Exactly, exactly. So Again, thank you very much, and thank you for everyone. I'll be live again in 2 weeks for live around 7:15, 7:30 for the English population on the second value of the E-Chaplain, which is to observe. So the five values of the E-Chaplain is to listen, to observe, to question, to appreciate, and to be in action. So tonight, previous, you can watch it on replay on my page or on the YouTube channel. I talk a little bit bilingually on the word écoute and to listen. And so see you in 2 weeks. If you have any suggestions, a topic you'd like us to talk about, feel free to write it in the comments. We will be there for you. We will do our best. One topic I would like to talk about, and maybe before Christmas or after, is duality and complementarity. Uh, Dualité et complémentarité. Anyways, instead of being in duality, making sure we complete with
Integration.
integration. Yes, duality versus integration. So that's a topic that goes along the way from along to belonging. So, anyways, I want to thank everybody. J'aimerais remercier tout le monde qui nous a regardés. Et ce soir, pour les gens francophones, on s'excuse que l'entrevue était seulement en anglais. Mais comme vous pouvez voir par sa voix, par sa présence, Joy est une personne gracieuse et laisse la place à tout le monde. So again, thank you very much. As you can see from Joy's present, she is gracious and she is there to make sure that you are welcome in this page, in this community. Again, thank you, Joy, and I wish you a good evening and a good week in your community chaplaincy ministry.
Thank you, Silvio. It was wonderful to be here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.